Welcome to my Titanic passenger profile series. A single tennis ball sits still on a manicured grass court. The sound of distant waves begins to swell. In April 1912, 21-year-old Richard Norris Williams wasn't just a passenger, he was a young man carrying the weight of a legacy and the dreams of a champion. Born in Geneva, Switzerland, to American parents, Dick was a rising tennis star. He was traveling with his father, Charles Dwayne Williams, to begin a new chapter at Harvard University. They boarded at Cherbourg as first-class passengers, carrying ticket number 17597, which cost them a staggering £61.7. Their world was one of mahogany, silk, and absolute certainty. Dick and Charles occupied cabin C-128. From here, they enjoyed the pinnacle of Edwardian luxury, unaware that these opulent walls would soon become a gilded cage. On the night of April 14th, the air turned needle-sharp. At 11:40 p.m., the vibration that shuddered through the hull wasn't just a collision, it was a countdown. While others panicked, the Williams men remained eerily calm. Dick actually wandered into the ship's gym to stay warm, watching others play with the weight machines to pass the time. In a moment of sheer adrenaline, Dick encountered a passenger trapped in a cabin. He smashed the door down with his shoulder to free them, only to be playfully scolded by a steward for damaging White Star property. As the bow plunged deeper, Dick and his father moved to the boat deck. They stood near the bridge, watching the last of the wooden lifeboats being lowered into the abyss. Suddenly, the forward funnel collapsed with a roar of rending metal. Dick saw his father crushed instantly by the falling stack. In an heartbeat, he was alone in the freezing Atlantic. Dick swam through the 0-degree water, his legs rapidly turning to blocks of ice. He reached collapsible lifeboat, not a boat, but a waterlogged raft drifting aimlessly. He spent the remaining hours waist-deep in freezing brine, clinging to the gunwale. Of the 30 people who reached that raft, only a handful survived the night. When the Carpathia arrived, Dick was barely alive. His legs were so severely frostbitten that the ship's doctor made a grim recommendation: "We have to amputate." Dick looked the doctor in the eye and refused. He said, "I'm going to need these." He forced himself to walk every hour, agonizing step by agonizing step, to keep the blood flowing. That defiance worked. Just months after the sinking, Dick Williams was back on the court. 2 years later, he was the U.S. national singles champion. He went on to win 2 U.S. Open titles, a Wimbledon doubles title, and an Olympic gold medal in 1924. He proved that the ice couldn't claim his spirit. Richard Norris Williams II passed away in 1968 at the age of 77 and is buried at St. David's Church Cemetery in Devon, Pennsylvania. He remains a symbol of the Titanic, not just of the tragedy, but of the incredible, stubborn resilience of the human will. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my Titanic passenger profile series. Stay tuned for my next video.